sentences. As I told you, we have different types of conditional sentences, and today we are going to talk about the first conditional sentences. When we say first, it means that we are dealing with the first verb. It means verb 1. But here, there is a little bit different from the zero type conditional sentences, which is here we have modal verbs in the main clause. As we said, the sentences are divided into two parts. The first part, which is the if clause, contains an if, and the main clause, which contains the modal verbs, okay? And basically, because we are dealing with the first conditional sentences, here we are dealing with the first modal verbs. Will, should, can, or must, or whatever you want. Here in the first conditional sentences, the use or the function for these sentences is simple: to talk about possibilities in the present or the future. To talk about possibilities. Possibilities يعني احتمالية. Here, if it rains, I will stay at home. If it rains, I will stay at home. And you all know, guys, here, after the modal verbs, we always use a base form verb. The sentence says, if it rains, it is a subject and it is a singular subject, so we add s to the verb. The second part اللي هو main clause, I plus will plus verb base, which is stay, and a complement for the sentence. If I wake up late, I will miss the bus. And this is a possibility because if you wake late, you will miss the bus. And this is something here. This is an action, the action waking up late, and the result of it that you will miss the bus. And pay attention, guys, that we use present simple in the first clause اللي هو مع ال F we use present simple, and in the main clause we use subject plus modal verb will plus verb base. Look at these examples here. If we want to make negative sentences from the first conditional sentences, look at the first example. If I study, I will pass my exam. And we said that with the F part, we use present simple. How can we make a negative sentence from the present simple sentences? Simply, we just add don't or doesn't, depending on the subject, of course, and the verb following them should be a base verb. So if I study, I will pass my exam. If I don't study, I won't pass my exams. Of course, we can also make the main clause with the modal verb a negative by adding not, will, بتصير, won't. And of course, the verb is a base verb. If I study, will I pass my exam? Here, if you want to make an interrogative sentences, you just switch in the main clause between the modal verb and the subject. Look at the second example. If he studies, he will pass his exam. Here, we have a singular subject, so we added the if clause. We added es to the verb. If we want to make it negative because the subject is singular, we add doesn't. And because we added doesn't, the do family verb doesn't accept any addition to the following verb. So we omit the es, and we put a base verb. Studies became study. If he doesn't study, he won't pass his exam. And the interrogative sentence, if he studies, will he pass the exam? We just switch between the modal verb and the subject. Look at this example also. This example talks about the possibility of something. Here we have an action, and in the second part we have a result. If the weather is nice, I'll go to the park. So here in the first part we have the if clause, which contains an F at the beginning, And in the second part, we have the main clause, which contains a modal verb and a base verb.